confessing to his crimes from his flash mansion in Abuja whilst in chains went viral in the last few weeks. Here's an excerpt of a report on the arrest broadcast on Channels Television in Nigeria.
The 130 million naira mansion where Chukwudi Dubememe Onwamadike alias Evans lived until his arrest on Saturday. Closed circuit cameras, super steel gate and high wired fence, simply a palatial mansion designed for a king. Once respected in his neighborhood at his Magodo residential home, here is Evans arriving in chains with his head bowed in apparent shame. The father of 5 lived like royalty. This was evident in his test. According to him, he spent more than 40 million naira on furnishing alone. Italian imported furniture, jacuzzi, name it. Evans had them all. For every man, there's a time of weakness and total surrender.
That's in Anambra. Then from Anambra, I moved to Edo. Edo State is like about 3 times. In Edo State, before I come to Lagos. What did you do? I know about Danodete. This amount of ransom we collected is from First Stack. He lives in First Stack.
The Nigerian police chief speaking in Accra confirmed the millionaire kidnapper is also known to have real estate properties here in Ghana housing his family.
Let me say AKA Evans was arrested 2 weeks ago in Nigeria. And this is a fugitive that we believe was, introduced a different novel idea of this kidnapping. He brought all his family to be based in Ghana while he stays in Nigeria and be kidnapping people. And when he kidnaps, what do you call it? His price tag are always in dollars. $1 million, 50 million naira, 120 million naira. Those are that's why in Nigeria they refer to him as a billionaire kidnapper.
Now, IGP Kotung Idris says the Nigerian police would wish to collaborate more with their Ghanaian counterparts to fight especially trans-border crime and discourage the activities of elements such as Chikubudem Onwa Kumadike.
He has 2 passports, Nigerian and Ghanaian passports. And like I said, his family and children are based in Ghana here. So I think it's very important they need to put an eye on his activities in Ghana. These are some of the issues, as you observe, these are some of the issues we have to together put our heads together to see how we can make the West African sub-region difficult for any will-be criminal, any of them.
Now, you stated that he has been operating on the coastline of the West African coastline. Can you tell us some of the countries?
Obviously, so far from our own end, we're able to track some of his properties in Lagos. We're able to track some of his gang members in Nigeria. But just like you observed, he may have some gang members in other places. And I think that's why I believe that the information we give you, our counterparts in Ghana, we're going to assist us to unravel some of these issues you are discussing.
Now, his Ghanaian counterpart IGP David Asante-Petu said Ghana is very much interested in such collaboration as intelligence sharing is critical.
We've come to realize that crime has become transnational, and therefore we can only fight this crime through international collaboration. This is exactly what we are doing. It's mentioning certain platforms like the West African Police Chiefs Organization and then the head of Interpol in Nigeria.
Well, the revelations by the Nigerian police chief only goes to confirm a well-known fact that many Nigerians, especially the wealthy, have made Ghana their second home. But could it also be offering refuge to known criminal elements from its Aboriginal neighbor? We're joined on the line by Chukwu Emeka Eze of the West African Network for Peace Building. Good evening to you, Mr. Eze.
Good evening.
And thank you for making time. Now, interestingly, I believe you're one Nigerian who calls Ghana home. Are there many like you?
Yes, of course, that is expected in a region where the ECOWAS integration process is actually encouraging the cross-border population to be in each other's country, and also encourages the transaction of goods and services. You expect that a lot of Nigerians will be in Ghana, especially that both Ghana and Nigeria are Anglophone countries. And also, more importantly, because this is within the spirit of the foundation of ECOWAS as a regional economic community.
Now, by virtue of that same fact you're talking about, that many are finding themselves, finding Ghana their second homes, would you then say that it is inadvertently also harboring or offering refuge to criminal elements?
Of course, this is what you expect from this kind of integration process. It comes with the good, the bad, the ugly. And in this instance, you are seeing the other side of it. But I think what is important is the measures that should be put in place so that this kind of activities, this kind of criminal activities does not undermine the ECOWAS integration process. And in my opinion, I think that if you listen to the two Inspector Generals of Police, they have actually hit the nail on the head by discussing how they can have a sub-regional and a community approach to fighting such criminal elements.
Is this millionaire kidnapper known to the Nigerian community here in Ghana?
I doubt seriously. This is my, for example, this is my 7th year in the country, and I've never come across him. But of course, it's also possible that in some circle he is known. You know, what happens is that such elements, they are wholly in the places of their abode, and then they have now where they operate those crimes, where they are in high demand. And in this instance, for the past 6 to 7 years, I'm told that this particular character has been on the radar of the police, because he did not just start as a kidnap kingpin. He started as a drug dealer. And to that extent, I think he lived in South Africa for a while, and this was not conducive for him, and then he changed his trade. And also looking at the trend, the trajectory shows that after the introduction of the electronic banking in the system in most of the countries in the sub-region, it became difficult for them to engage in acts of robbery and burglary. So this is the new trade that they are now engaged in.
Now, you just talked about the fact that he once lived in South Africa, but didn't find that place conducive. What is it in Ghana that is making it that conducive for him to want to come and settle here or operate from here?
Like I said earlier on, you see where he decides to reside. I don't think he commits those crimes. That's my assumption. And to that extent, so long as he have not committed any crime in Ghana, and so long as he is not in want in terms of his activities, and also including the fact that in South Africa he probably needs a visa to be able to stay, and even a resident permit to stay beyond a certain period of time. Here he has the luxury of 90 days at the minimum. And if he succeeds in getting a resident permit, and in this instance, I'm also told that he engaged on the blind eye of the immigration community and even got himself a passport. So to that extent, you know, and it's difficult really to know who is a Nigerian and who is a Ghanaian just by official look. So to that extent, and he also acquired a property. So to that extent, it's difficult to identify him on the radar or on the wanting list, so long as he has not committed any crime. But in Nigeria, it is a different case altogether, because he committed crime and he is on the watch list of the police.
Now, there are some systems in place that are supposed to flag some of these things. For instance, if he's buying property in Ghana, he would have moved some illicit funds, or we're assuming that he would have moved some of the illicit funds to do that. How come the system is not able to pick up some of these exceptions?
Well, these are criminals, and the point here is there are many of his kind that probably are not lucky, and today he is one of those unlucky ones. But it also does not mean that we have 100% situation here where nothing ever gets on the blind eye. In this instance, for example, there are so many options that is available to him that as a criminal he can exploit. For example, is it that he can come with this money in cash? That's a possibility. He can come with it over a period of time and he is not caught. Or he can even use some of his members of his family or his gang to bring in the funds. That's a possibility. Is it also possible that in purchasing such property, he is also colluding with a Ghanaian, which is also possible? There are too many ways those criminals can beat the system, but it only takes a while, and today I don't think he is as lucky as he used to be yesterday.
All right, now, taking yourself away from being the expert we're speaking to and being a Nigerian yourself, are you worried when you hear such stories? Because it tends to feed into the narrative that Nigerians are domiciled in Ghana and sometimes engage in crime.
Well, this is what you get in most urban cities in Africa. This is what you get. It doesn't matter the percentage of the people living in another country. So long as even 1% is committing crime, it is a dent on the entire nation. And to that extent, it's not only a dent to the Ghanaian authority in terms of the security apparatus, but now a national shame to the country, Nigeria. So if you hear this kind of thing, it undermines the efforts of other citizens who are here to do legitimate business. And it also goes to increase the perception, of the security agents or even the state against a certain other country. So you won't be surprised if there is now increased vigilance on a Nigerian citizen coming into the country if people don't know what kind of business you're doing. So it also undermines tourism. So legitimate people that even come to stay for a while and look around because of this, taking advantage of this integration agenda of ECOWAS, they might find it difficult to be allowed into the country, except they give all proof about their mission. And this is not the intent of the founding fathers of ECOWAS.
Thank you very much, Chukwu Emeka Eze of the West African Network for Peace Building, and he was sharing some insights into the story that's coming up. The Nigerian IGP is cautioning or urging Ghanaian authorities to be worried about the activities of criminal elements who are operating. And it follows the exposure or the revelations that one Nigerian kidnapper, a notorious kidnapper, actually had a Ghanaian passport and is domiciled here in Ghana, or has his family domiciled here in Ghana. Now,